Hello and welcome to Lyndall Brakes. Today we're going to be talking about brake fluid and the importance of regular service intervals on your brake fluid. Brake fluid is probably the most important component of your brake system, but it's one of the least thought of. When you think about performance brakes, you seldom think about brake fluid, but it's a good idea to think about it, and here's why. Brake fluid is very hygroscopic, so it absorbs moisture right out of the atmosphere. At ambient temperature, when you start off your ride and your brake temperatures are low, the moisture that's been absorbed into the system is a solid, just like the rest of the fluids in the system. But when you get up to high temperatures, like 300 degrees plus, which is very easily done on a canyon, or if you are cresting a ridge 5,000 foot altitude with 6% switchbacks, etc., this is when your brake temperatures elevate and that moisture that's absorbed into the brake fluid can flash. It turns into a gas, and gases are compressible. So your lever comes to your bar, you have no brakes, and that's when your brake fluid's flashing. People think that they faded their brakes off and, oh, I faded the brake pads, or I did this or that. No, you didn't. You flashed the brake fluid. So there's different ratings for brake fluid from the Department of Transportation. That's where they get the DOT. There's .3, there's .4, there's .5. The .5 is silicone, and the .3 and 4 are synthetics. Now, why would they have multiple ratings on there? That's a good question. The .3 is a more universal brake fluid, commonly found in service vehicles, cars, etc. It's got the lowest boiling temperature, and it's the least hygroscopic. It requires the least frequency in service intervals. So as you move up to performance fluids in the .4 range with a very high boiling temp, these become more hygroscopic. So they're aggressively absorbing moisture from the atmosphere, and they require more frequent service intervals. If you have a 5.1 from Motul, this is very good for street use. Highly recommended if you're putting this in your chopper, or you're putting this in your street ride. This has a boiling temperature of, it says right here on the bottle, there's two temperature ratings. There's a dry boiling temp and a wet boiling temp. The dry boiling temp is when you have a sealed, unopened bottle, and this has another seal under the cap. So when you're breaking the seal on a fresh bottle, you can refer to the dry boiling temperature of the fluid. If you are servicing from an open bottle, you can refer to the wet boiling temperature. For instance, this has a dry boiling temperature of 520 degrees, where the wet boiling temperature is, I think, 320 degrees. So a significant drop in performance from an unopened bottle. So that's why when you're going to service your brake fluid, I never pour from an open bottle. I'll always get a new bottle. It's a cheap insurance for sure. You can see that we go up the range. Motul goes up the range from 5.1, which is a good street fluid, 600, 660, and their latest is the 700. The 700 is the highest boiling temp, most hygroscopic. We typically run this in all of the King of the Baggers. This is ubiquitous in Moto America. Everybody's running this. And you'll notice that every time you paddock the bike, you should be cracking a fresh seal and servicing your brake fluid. I can't stress this enough. Again, cheap insurance, making sure that your unsung hero here is fresh and ready to do the job. Don't wait till it's too late and you're off in the ditch or on the infield or wherever you end up because you didn't service your brake fluid. Anyway, we appreciate you joining us today, and if you like this video, please click the like and follow along. See you next time.